My 42M wife 41F lied about a sexual affair with a coworker. Started a throwaway account for obvious reasons. My wife and I have been together for over 27 years. We met in high school, got married at 21, and have 3 kids. In high school, we lost our virginity together. A couple of years in, over the course of a year, she broke up with me and slept with 3 different men. The last time it happened, I was an idiot for getting back with her, but I love her, and had a hell of a bond with her. Unfortunately, she lied about the last guy. He was this creepy 25-year-old guy, and she was 17. She said they were just friends, and although I didn't believe her, I tried to. Fast forward to 2014, my father died unexpectedly while on vacation with our 2 older kids. In a panic, I told my wife let's go, and she refused because her sister was there, and she didn't have enough time to get ready. I went alone to be with my 5-year-old at the time, and 9-year-old son, because they literally found my father dead on the bathroom floor. The next day while planning his funeral, she's giving me a hard time, because she needs to leave and see her family for Easter. Over the course of a year, we slowly degraded. She's up her family's ass 24/7, and we drift apart. I decided I had enough, and separated, with no intention of returning. This was 2015. In the middle of 2016, we started talking again, and decided to try and work things out. Yeah, I know I'm a clique. I immediately told her that about 7 months earlier I was talking, and sleeping with someone else. I've only had 2 time partners in my entire life. I told her everything she wanted to know, without hesitating. She then tells me she met some dude at a store and they had a FWB relationship, and she was currently still talking to him. She provides information about that, and I say okay, but cut off all communication with said dude, as I had already cut off the other girl. It felt just wrong being with someone else. It always made me feel empty. That's why I wasn't talking to her anymore. Anyway, we reconcile, and move forward. Fast forward to the start of COVID. And my wife's sister husband just up and left her and her 2 kids. Okay, so we all need to be there for her, although my wife still talks to them daily, visits them every weekend, and holiday, even if it's just Memorial Day etc. So time passes, and our relationship begins to fall apart again, due to her solely focusing on her family. Our first vacation in almost 2 years due to COVID, she invites her sister to come. This pisses me, and my kids off, and myself, and my 3 boys stay behind. The domino effect starts again. I decided to ask her to renew our vows, and focus on us. She agrees. I buy her a flawless 1-carat diamond, set in platinum, book a trip to a tropical place for a week, and we renew our vows. Fast forward to this past summer, and her phone is giving her trouble. She's got tons of pics, etc. I suggested backing everything up, and getting a new phone. She backed up her pictures to the computer. We both use this laptop. While looking for something, I stumble on a face in the search part of photos in Windows. I click on it, and it's some dude she had worked with. She left her job a year ago, to help with my company. There's tons of pics of him. When I confronted her, she like, oh, that's just work pics, we get gift cards when we take pictures of someone working. I said, well, a bunch of these are just pics of him sitting around. I could tell she was lying, and went off. She then confessed that said dude, her coworker, was her FWB while we were split up. I accepted that she slept with someone, we were not together, but she promised she'd have no contact with dude, and she did for almost 6 years. They've went to lunch together, with other co-workers, worked out together at work. There's a gym at her old place of employment. They even ran in a work 5K as partners. Also found out she went to lunch with him, and 4 other ex-co-workers a few months after she left the job. I was absolutely furious that she's lied for so long. She also admitted to sleeping with that guy when we were kids, remember the 25-year-old. All this left me angry, and lost. It's been a few months since I found out, and I'm still angry. She really takes no accountability for it, and said well it's in the past, and it doesn't matter anymore. Well, she made this current for me. Now I realize why I was never invited to work events that allowed spouses to come. I've never met any co-workers, and I'd call her several times to meet for lunch, and she'd have plans already. She denies anything other than platonic work with dude since we got back together. I even contacted dude pretending to be her, and he confirmed that there was nothing after the FWB thing. He was fired in 2020. He was in IT, and kept up with the camera system. He had been keeping footage of co-workers, and taking it home. This bothered me, and I started digging. I'm not gonna put anyone on across her, but I found certain accounts on certain sites, and confirmed it was him, talking about their relationship while we split up, in vivid detail. It was shocking. Even found out it happened in our house, on our couch. Needless to say, I have since literally burned that couch in a bonfire. What worries me, is that this dude may have secretly recorded her too. On these certain sites, he obviously has a voyeurism issue. He's also into married women solely. I'm uncertain I can move past this. We're good for a short while, then I kinda shut down. Any advice would be appreciated. Sorry for the length, and grammar. Doing this on my phone quickly. Redditor's reactions, story 2 after. Redditor 1, leave the cheating, the lies she told are enough to make a Soviet and Chinese flag. Personally, it's a no-go for me when she takes no accountability of her actions and blatantly blames you for everything. Op answer, I feel the same way. Biggest problem is our 3 boys. They are ages 18, 13, and 6. They are all extremely happy, and doing really good. I promised them I'd never leave again. I die for them, and I feel like, well, I've wasted most of my life on love, why not another 12 years until they're all grown? My wife and I do a great job at keeping this at bay, and away from the kids. We don't fight, and stuff in front of the kids. Also, I really love her. Ducking sucks. We do so well together, yet all this it. I greatly appreciate the advice to you, and others. The flag thing made me laugh hard. Redditor 2, I mean you brought this on yourself, man. It's been 27 years of shady behavior, lying and red flags. Either accept the fact that you are committed to a woman who doesn't care about you or get a divorce and live a happy life with someone who does. Op answer, I know. I've known that since she cheated while we were dating. I'm not one to shout my problems to people we know. It's why I posted here. Just needed to hear the reality of it, from other people. Redditor 3, her cheating would be enough of a reason to break up. The way she behaved when your father died would be enough of a reason to break up. The way she prioritizes her family over you and your children would be enough of a reason to break up. It's all there, you know what you should do, so just do it. Story 2, 50M found out 2 weeks ago my wife 41F of 17 years has been having an affair for 6 years. I had my suspicions for many of those years that something was going on, but I could never quite get the definitive evidence. I was putting laundry away one day and found a box to a CCK ring in her sock drawer. I didn't say anything right away, but I was pretty damn sure at this point something was going on. A couple weeks after that we were having a conversation and I saw a hickey on her neck. I pointed it out and of course she denied it. The next night I went into the guest room and the sheets were slightly messed up. I went to take a shower and the cap to my shampoo was off the bottle, and I never leave it off the bottle. I confronted her about that and she said it was she that used my shampoo. I then showed her the box to the CCK ring and asked her to explain it and she had nothing to say. I asked her if she wanted to be married to me and she said yes. She asked if I still wanted to be married to her and I said yes. We went into our bedroom to talk further because we have 3 kids and we didn't want them to hear. While we were in the room I asked her why and she said it makes her feel validated because her parents never gave her the validation she needed. Her parents were pretty essity raising her and her dad wasn't around much because of college and the military. I told her that I didn't understand how sleeping with another guy besides her husband gives her validation, but if it's what she needs then I would allow it. We actually had a really great conversation and I told her that I would have to always be number one to her and she said yes. We actually had the best time we'd had in months, maybe years at the end of our conversation. We've had more conversations since then and each one makes me feel both better and worse, lol. I guess I am in it now. Thoughts? Redditor's reactions, story 3 after. Redditor 1, dude. 6 years ducking another dude behind your back. Really? You are gonna stick around for that? Wow. Good luck. She is not giving the other dude or dudes up. Get some backbone, man. Redditor 2, willingly being a doormat. Redditor 3, 6 years. What's there to work on? Your marriage has essentially been over for close to a decade. Don't see any coming back from that. Story 3, wife's affair has destroyed me. 63M married to 52F. We are both on our second marriages and have one 13-year-old daughter. She's the light of my life. My wife cheated at the beginning of our relationship, 20 years ago, that I attributed to monkey branching and forgave her for. 3 months ago I became suspicious due to a myriad of small things. I could not shake the idea that she was stepping out, so I put a GPS tracker on her car. The first confrontation was full of lies and deceit, as is normally the case. I knew at that point that she was cheating, but admitted to myself that her excuse could be plausible, and let's face it, I didn't want it to be true. Another week went by, with 2 more visits to her AP, 1 overnight. She had used sleeping at a friend's house as an excuse. In the final confrontation she admitted to it. She has only admitted to an emotional affair, which of course, is difficult to believe. She claims the affair was 3 months long. I am stage 4 with prostate cancer and the drugs I take have rendered me impotent. Between this and my wife's affair, I am literally, and figuratively, emasculated. I have always considered her to be my soul mate, so the betrayal hit me very hard. We went to counseling and my wife has said most of the things you would hope for. She claims she has cut off communication with her AP. However, she has never offered transparency and continues to refuse me access to her phone. This issue was really the breaking point. I needed her to make me the priority, and she is maintaining privacy as the most important thing in her life, not me, not our marriage. I don't want a divorce, we would have to sell the house and this would impact our daughter too much. We can live together amicably enough, but my love for her is dying. I want to stay with her and have already forgiven her her sins, but this continuing deceit is killing off the remnants of our marriage. Please, any advice would be much appreciated. Thanks for reading. An update. You'll see that I painted myself as a very sympathetic character. It's an accurate post, but as I'm sure you can imagine, there were many things left unsaid. I have spent the last few months ranting and raving, completely out of control. As time went on, my wife became less responsive, less compassionate and actually afraid of me. I was hurting so badly, I didn't care how much I was hurting her psychologically. A good friend pointed out it was perhaps time to let it go. Of course, my wife had suggested that many times, but I wouldn't listen. A few days ago we were having a very bad time. I asked her if she still wanted to reconcile. She had tears streaming down her face when she told me that when I had discovered the affair and she could see how much she had hurt me, that she had wanted to reconcile so very, very badly. I could see that she was being honest and I wondered why I had been unable to see it at the time. I had an epiphany of sorts. I could see our marriage dissolving under the pressure that I alone was exerting. I decided then and there to change back to whom I had been before, and to leave that broken husk of an emotional sea cold behind. It's important to note that for me, 4 months later, I can finally control the way I act. I can't, however, control the way I feel. I know that just like any other grieving process, it is very slow. The sadness and heartbreak will fade slowly, but will always be there. The thing is, she really wants to reconcile. I really want to reconcile. I took a long hard look at my own happiness. Today I'm home with my daughter, to bake her cookies and help her with her homework. If I move out, none of that will happen. In my original post I received lots of advice that was actually thinly veiled revenge PR. I did, however, receive a few diamonds. I'm looking at you, nocturnal remission. I want peace and love in my final hours, and although it may not be perfect, it's my best shot at happiness. My story is a bit different due to my illness, but I'm not sure the outcome would have been different had I been healthy. After all is said and done, I love her today as I did a year ago. I just can't stop. I don't want to divorce, I don't want to separate. I want to stay with my wife whom I love beyond all else. I hope it's not too late. Redditor's reactions. Redditor 1, healing for sure isn't linear. What an amazing gift you can pass on to your future self, your wife, and you daughter. Someone willing to learn and show compassion, someone who is learning true empathy through experience, honesty, curiosity, and putting in the work to create your family's definition of love. I'm sorry you've had to go through the breach of trust and all of the grief and heartache. But what a gem you are in the lives of all your people. Answer, thank you for your kind words. Others will paint me as a coward, but I truly believe it takes bravery to commit to the path I've chosen. Redditor 2, the advice you received wasn't terrible based on the information you provided and where you posted it. Relationship advice. Glad things are going in a good direction for you. I've seen several BS cross the line of setting boundaries and full transparency to dungeon masters determined to control, punish, and teach their way back to a healthy relationship. Answer, yes, and really that's the main reason for my update. I hadn't seen anyone discussing this issue. It's a very human reaction but so very destructive. Redditor 3, does she continue to hide her phone and deny you transparency in her communications? Redditor 4, I became an absolute psycho rage monster back in the beginning of our pattern. He would cheat, I would find out, I would make his life hell even when he tried to change, and he would relapse and go seek comfort and validation elsewhere. It was horrible. But I was justified, right? I was so justified in my anger that I didn't care what it did. It was in the right, so I would give this rage monster free rein to destroy and hurt whomever. Looking back, we know it doesn't work like that. You can't add only hate to your relationship and expect it to somehow start producing love and happiness. Congratulations on letting go of the anger. I feel a bit more vulnerable without it. Is he going to forget how dear the consequences are? And, since those consequences would fall on our children too, what if he thinks I'll just accept and disbelieve like I did in the beginning? But it's a maybe versus definitely thing. I know we'll stay locked in our destructive pattern if I stay angry. Meanwhile, by letting it go, it becomes up to him. He'll honor what we've built or he won't. But this way, we stand a chance and I can enjoy being happy with my partner again. I can have my cookies, like you describe with your little girl. I'm so happy for you, sweetie. I hope she proves worthy of your forgiveness and you can enjoy cookies for a long time. Redditor follow-up, this was a really nice comment to read. Thank you so much for sharing your experience.